Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to Havenburg. In this episode of Cities Skylines, I placed some trees over parked cars. I placed some trees over uglier trees. And I can't decide which trees to place over some benches. Hi everyone, I hope you liked that new intro. You could probably tell where I got it from, but I think I'm going to assimilate it into my channel because it gives a little bit of character to the beginning of my videos, and it also lets you know what you can look forward to in the video, but not really. Anyway, let's get back to the time-lapse. Now, what you see me doing here is, well, I wanted to expand this avenue a bit more, like widen it, to give it more of a look of a main traffic vein of the city, sort of. There's not that much traffic now, but later when I do all the districts and traffic bans, I'm sure there will be a lot of traffic on these two roads. So of course you have a problem that you can only zone buildings right next to the road itself. So I figured, why wouldn't I just turn vanilla buildings into Rico buildings, which will allow me to move them freely independent of the zoning beneath them. And of course I also don't have to worry about disappearing buildings, abandoning, and different building popping back up, which is also quite cute. So what I did is I took all the level 2 European residential, commercial and office buildings, and basically using the Rico mode from in-game, it's quite easy. I just transformed them into ploppable buildings, so that I can basically move them one tile away from the road and get this little widened pedestrian path with trees and parking lots, which I really like how it looks. But the reason I took level 2 buildings, well, there are two reasons, I think. One is that I think if you turn a growable building into a ploppable Rico building, it will disappear from the growable building pool, I think. So it will never grow. And that's why if you take level 1 buildings, it's fine, you will have the Rico building, but you will not be able to grow that particular building when you apply zoning to the road. And I also should mention the second reason, and that is that I only use level 1 buildings for the European style, because if you look at it closely, they're all identical, except that the higher level buildings, of course, accept more citizens, which is actually bad because that puts more stress on your computer. And if you look closely, you can see it even on these level 2 buildings. They add those little solar panels and windows and all those additional props, which I really don't like. And they also add more stress to your computer because of course you have to render them. And that's why I never use level 3, 4 or 5 European buildings. They all look the same, but the level 1s actually look much better. But anyway, the time-lapse has already gone way past that. Currently I am detailing these backyards inside these housing blocks. And I don't really think there's anything interesting to talk about. It's very generic work. some surface painter, cars, decals, trees, and then repeat. I'm back to talk a little bit about this park that I'm building because honestly, when I finished it, I wasn't even quite sure if it even looked acceptable in the game because it is like heavily taken from real life and inspired by an actual park that I go to quite often. But I wasn't quite sure if it actually fit the game quite well because the trees that I end up choosing are those London plant trees. I think that's what they're called, and they seem kind of repetitive. I will admit that, but I think it's okay, and especially when you go first person, you will see in the cinematics later. I really like the atmosphere it creates um, in first person view, and I must also add that I probably chose the most complicated way of building a custom park in this game. I definitely recommend that you go into the asset editor and then just create a park because it gives you so much more freedom and more flexibility, and you don't need to pull all the roads through the park and you don't have cars driving through it. Just but I really wanted to place these PPGs, park people generators, so that the park seemed very busy and that people visited it. And I really went crazy with those. I placed them everywhere, and basically that's why I needed to have roads, actual roads going through the park. But yeah, as I said, I definitely recommend that you just go into the asset editor and build the park, and then you can place those hang around markers anywhere you want. But since I already built it here, I I don't think would be it would be a waste of time if I just went and redid it. But anyway, what else did I want to talk about? Right, I think I actually found a perfect day for my uploads, and it's going to be every Wednesday. I'm going to try to upload a video every Wednesday, and maybe one over the weekend if I have the time. But for now, it's just going to be one video every Wednesday. And the reason I chose that day is because I personally actually have a problem finding YouTube videos to watch on Wednesday. I mean, they're coming every day, but I think they just Wednesdays are sort of a break day for YouTube. And also, one more thing I want to say is episode 10, which we are now close to, since this is 8. But I plan on making a little city tour every 10 episodes, like on episode 10, 20, 30, and so on. So tell me your opinion about that. Would you want to see the city? Because I feel you can kind of get separate from the actual look of the city when you just keep on building. I even don't know how the dam looks anymore, or even the sewage treatment plant, and so on. So yeah, tell me if you would want to see that down below in the comments. But this time lapse is slowly coming to an end. So I'm just gonna say thank you to everyone who has been leaving likes and all the positive comments, both here and on Twitter, where you should definitely consider following me. But if not, at least subscribe so that you get notified every time I upload a video. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, thank you to everyone, and you will see me next time.